Okay, before the plenary session, we have one more presentation that is going to be crucial to our discussion that's going to follow very shortly. Our final guest is Tom Forster. He's an academic and activist who's been working on issues of public health and sustainability for over 20 years. He's been a central figure in defining New York's role in food policy discussions as a faculty member of the New School. Yes, there are other learning institutions. Tom teaches students and future advocates about the need for a community-based solution to hunger, poverty, and agriculture inequality. He has come today with what I think is a remarkable presentation to get us all up to speed on the advocacy already taking place in New York to combat the crisis. I can't thank him enough for his devotion to this conference and for the presentation. Please welcome Thomas Forster, and then we go to work. Thank you. Tom, come on up.
Good morning. Thank you, Maya Wiley, for setting a beautiful stage that follows Mayor Bloomberg and also Miguel Descoto, President of the UN General Assembly. My job is to really turn this back over to you, and I charge you in a way that I think the last few statements that Maya made around how networks and partnerships, the hand in the hand, that's what I want to focus on here, because in order to turn the politics of food into an asset-based and community-based approach to food security, it's those hands working together that are absolutely critical. So what do we do now with the politics of food? We know that to feed a city the size of New York 3 times a day is complex in the best of times. We know that in these times, in a troubled economy with families having to choose between food and fuel and rent, millions of meals prepared each day for children and adults who cannot afford or find access to healthy food, we have a crisis that needs solutions, but we have many answers, and many of them are in this room. And this short presentation is really about and meant to stimulate a level of new thinking about the kinds of results that partnerships can lead to, using new software and social science that a large team has put together here just for today and just to stimulate the work ahead. As a product of this first cut of tools, we've been focusing on the efforts at collaboration here in New York City. The toolkit is under construction and needs your guidance. Folks like you doing real work, both out in the field and in the community and also in organizations. These tools are designed to be participatory, dynamic, and real connections between people and organizations, answering questions: who is doing what, where, and when. And as we know, jobs in the food economy, access to food, and sustainability of the food system are the overarching principles that many of you are working on. And when fully developed, tools that show which organizations are working on which issues on the ground and how they are related to policy processes are what technology and good social science applications can provide. So we've heard about and know that we live in globalized local food systems that often operate beyond our control and comprehension. But in New York, as in many large and small communities around the world, there are new exciting partnerships of civil society, working with government, mobilizing in 21st century ways to address food security and now the global food crisis. And in coming breakout sessions and collaborations after today, this is just one step towards efforts at a more unified policy within New York City. Around the world, the food agenda requires new and urgent consensus and action from regions to countries, and in specific cities like New York, there are citizens looking for services, access to food in particular, agencies trying to improve that access, business owners looking for new opportunity, policymakers seeking to address hunger and poverty. So what we did in the course of the last few weeks was take 4 existing public-private partnerships: the Food Systems Network of New York City, Food and Fitness Partnership, also of New York City, the UFCW Building Blocks Project for Good Food, Good Jobs, and Good Health, and the Brooklyn Healthy Food Campaign, led by Brooklyn's Bounty and the Brooklyn Borough President's Office. The dots in each of the clusters on this slide show the numbers of organizations in each respective partnership. Just out of curiosity, how many in this room are involved in one or more of these partnerships right now? That's a lot of you. You can see that there's a toolbar on the left that allows you to see the members and partners, and at the same time, how they are mapped in the city. So where the density of the work on the ground is occurring, the functional working partnerships that helps make food accessible. And this is part of that asset-based approach. We need tools that are powerful and visual. This is just a very, very teaser of an introduction. It needs a lot more work, but tools that show that scaling up good practices requires the citizens, managers, and decision makers to understand how, when, and where partnerships collaborate to bring healthy food to every kind of outlet. Now, we took the vision statements of these 4 networks, and we used software to come up with what were the top terms in their vision and mission statements. The same technology could be applied to programs and to policy priorities, such as those that might come out of meetings and follow-up steps to this. So public health is the one that came up the most, and I'm just going to give you a quick run-through on how this toolkit can be useful for identifying relationships that are already on the ground. Within one network, the Food Systems Network NYC, we see that public health in vision and mission statements links 42 of these organizations in their work around the community. If you look at public health across 2 out of the 4 networks, and in this case it's combining Food Systems Network with Food and Fitness Partnership, we see connections between members and organizations that are working across the urban landscape again. So this is just, as I said, an inkling of the kinds of relationships that are out there that are connecting city farms, farmers market creation, youth farmers markets, that are increasing the connection between rural and urban markets, access to healthy food for urban areas from regional and local production. So the national level, we're also seeing, like New York, and New York in some ways has a lead, and other cities in the country. This is, for example, the Food and Fitness, 9 jurisdictions across the country that, like New York, are working to combine the built environment indicators for health with the food environment indicators for health. And then beyond that, and this is something that the president of the GA, Miguel Descoto, mentioned, cities around the world are beginning to demand of their governments the space politically, the flexibility, and the resources to be leaders in the relocation of agriculture from just being another global business sector to food as an essential human need and right, as we heard Father Descoto mention. And a new imperative and resolve is required to end hunger, eliminate poverty, and sustain the natural resources needed for a growing world. Governments of the world have realized that, but what hasn't been really empowered are the partnerships that we're talking about at local and regional levels between rural and urban sectors, between consumers and farmers, to make that happen, grow a new generation of farmers, but also allow the access to healthy food for all. So I'm going to shorten this. There's a longer presentation. There's some fact sheets at a table for Parsons Institute for Information Mapping and New School out there that at the expo that have more of the methodology behind this if you're interested. Jerry Hush, Dr. Jerry Hush and Brian Willison are here in the audience, and they'll be at the table. They helped really put this together. And a special thanks to the students of the New School Food Studies program who did a lot of the work to gather the data, and to the partnerships that I mentioned that provided that data. There's also going to be, the full presentation will be online today or tonight on this website. Thank you.